Sometimes the most incredible stories, they're just hiding right under our noses. Today, we're going to pull on one of those threads. It starts with a tiny $20 freelance job, but it leads to this amazing story about ambition, creativity, and what it really means to hustle online.
So, what can a single $20 bid really tell us? I mean, it sounds like nothing, right? But what if I told you that inside this one tiny bid is a whole story? A story about passion, about drive, and about the very real struggles of trying to turn something you love into a career. Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover.
Okay, so our story kicks off in a place that's probably pretty familiar to a lot of us, a freelance job posting. And we're not talking about anything fancy or glamorous here. Just a small, everyday digital task, floating out there in the huge ocean of the gig economy.
So what was the job? It was super straightforward. Just integrate a weather API into a website. That's it. For any web dev out there, this is pretty standard stuff. Kind of small scale, the sort of thing you could probably knock out in an afternoon without breaking a sweat.
And the budget for this, get this, $10 to $30. I mean, that's barely enough to grab lunch in some places. So obviously, this isn't a project that's going to make anyone's career. And yet, for some reason, it got a ton of people bidding on it, like a swarm of competition.
And we're not talking about amateurs here. The competition was serious. I mean, just look at this bid. Someone with over 7 years of experience in things like PHP, Laravel, and React, building scalable web applications. This is a heavy hitter, a seriously skilled professional, and they're bidding on a job that maxes out at $30. Wild.
And it doesn't stop there. Here's another one. A developer promising astonishing designs and high-impact code. I mean, these proposals are so slick, so professional. And let's be honest, they are way overqualified for what the job actually is.
Okay, one more, just to really paint the picture. This one promises effortless and efficient delivery. So you get it, right? This tiny little job somehow turned into a battlefield for all these seasoned pros. But buried in all that professional speak, all that jargon, there was one bid that was just different.
And this is the bid that started it all. This is what caught our eye. Because amongst all these super polished corporate-sounding bids, one of them stood out. It was just refreshingly honest, almost like shockingly honest. Here it is, from a user named Promgubs. There's no talk about astonishing designs or scalable applications. It's just this totally straightforward statement. He's basically saying, hey, I know how to do this stuff, PHP, MySQL, and I think this project would be a great experience for me. That's it. It's so earnest, so humble, and just really, really human.
And right away, that just sparked a question for us. Who is Promgubs? That simple, honest bid just had to investigate. We had to go down the rabbit hole. So the first clue we found was right there in his profile, a link to his personal portfolio website. And this, my friends, is where the story really starts to get interesting.
Bam! Right on the homepage, this is what you see. Hello, I'm Promgubs, developer, coding specialist. I love the confidence here, right? He's not just saying he's learning to code, he's already claiming that title. Specialist. Pretty bold. And when you dig into his experiences section, whoa, you can see just how fast this guy is moving. He only started with the basics, HTML and CSS, in 2023. Just a year later, he's already freelancing and jumping into complex back-end stuff like C++ and Python. This is not some slow, steady university course. This is the roadmap of someone who is super passionate and just learning at lightning speed on their own. And look, he's not just reading books or watching tutorials, he's actively building things. A whole chatting system, tools for math equations, a restaurant website. I mean, he's putting his skills to the test. And then you see the big one, his passion project, the Promgubs Newsroom social website. You can just tell this is the one that really matters to him. So of course, we had to go check it out, right? We had to see this newsroom, and it's not just some simple blog. It's a full-on social website that he built completely from scratch. It looks like it's his own little corner of the internet to post content and maybe, try to build a community. And the content on there is just this awesome kind of quirky mix of stuff. It really gives you a window into who he is. You've got tech news next to historical facts about Oppenheimer. You've got memes, some motivational quotes, and then even local news from Nigeria. It's like a one-person content creation engine. But that raises a question. Who's actually posting all this stuff? So we clicked over to the feeds page to see the different users. And this is where we found something really fascinating.
It turns out the developer's real name is Promgubs Nana. And when you look at the usernames of who's posting all the content, well, they're all just different versions of his own name. He's built this entire social world, and to get it off the ground, he's the one creating all the user accounts and posting everything himself. It's like the ultimate fake-it-till-you-make-it strategy for a new social site.
Okay, so let's just recap. The ambition here is off the charts, right? He learned to code, built a whole portfolio, and even launched his own social media platform from scratch. He's basically done everything you're supposed to do. But there's a catch, a problem, and it's a really common one, a really real-world one.
So you can get to the homepage no problem, but what happens when you try to actually use the site? You know, when you click on the blog, or the gallery, or the feeds, the places where all this cool content is supposed to be.
This is what you get. You hit a wall, an error message. This site/page has used all available resources allowed for a free hosting account. It's basically the digital version of running out of gas. He's maxed out his free hosting plan.
And that right there, that's the heart of it. His ambition has literally grown bigger than his budget. He's built something so cool and so feature-packed that the free plan just can't handle it anymore. And I think that's a story that every creator, every entrepreneur, really anyone with a big dream and a small budget can totally relate to.
So think about it. We've come full circle. We started this whole thing with one simple $20 bid. That little thread led us to this aspiring developer's portfolio. From there, we found his super ambitious social media site, and that led us right to the hard limit of a free hosting plan. It's this whole complete story about passion and the real-world walls you can hit, all uncovered from this one little post.
And all of this really just leaves us with a final question to think about, doesn't it? We just saw this perfect little snapshot of one person's journey, all the drive, all the skill, the creativity, and then this very real roadblock. It really makes you wonder, what does it actually take to cross that invisible line from a passion project to a real profession? And you have to ask, how many other people just like Promgubs are out there, right now, just one tiny gig or one small hosting upgrade away from making their dream a reality?